Has your money ever just like totally disappeared? You know, like you think you have money, but then you go and you check and you realize, well, crap, I really don't have any money. Where did my money go? Has that ever happened to you or is that just me? The truth is that when it comes to budgeting, budgeting is only one component of the whole entire thing. You can make the most pretty, beautiful, detailed out budget on the face of the planet, but if you don't actually work the budget, it's never going to work. So that means you have to know where your money is actually going. And so I started doing this process a couple of years ago, and it has been phenomenal in changing the way that me and my husband manage our money, especially throughout the year. That's right. I said the year. You are going to be doing a annual money review. And this is the perfect time to do it. I like to do it before the holiday season because I know that for me, the holiday season just gets like super, super crazy and I will not do it. It's just the truth. I'll get to January and I'll totally forget to do this. So I like to do it now before the holidays happen. So then that way I can make sure that my money is in order. And so that's what I'm going to be walking you through today is how to do an annual money review. It is not nearly as scary as it sounds. And this will put you in a much better financial spot for the next year if you do this and you make the changes that you need to. My name is Jessie Fearon and I am a financial coach and I have been sharing my family's real life on a budget for 8 years now at my blog at jessiefearon.com. And so I am super excited to walk you through this exercise because I know that it's totally going to help you. So the first thing that we are going to do is, well, review your spending. So I actually have this principle that I use, and I will include a link in the description of this video where you can go and download the printable. But this printable is fantastic. But this printable works really well. It goes month by month. I just write out what our total income for that month was. I get that from our bank account. You can look at your paycheck stubs, whatever process is easiest for you. But I just look into our checking account because that's where all of the money flows into and out of is from our checking account. And so I just log in there and then I can just search by deposits and I can see what ones were like our actual paychecks. And I write down the total income. I write down our total expenses for that month. Like I just literally look at whatever month I'm looking at. So if I'm in January, I just look at what the total amount of the expenses were. I don't necessarily go in to see what each thing was. Not yet. I will, but not yet. I don't. Right now, I'm just looking to see how much did we actually spend in those months. And then I calculate, okay, how much should we overspend out of our income? Meaning we had to go into, our slush fund or something else in order to pay for something. And then were we under? And so why I like doing this first is because it lets me see on a yearly timeline, what months do we spend the most money in? And I'm going to tell you what, it's not during the holiday season, not for us. For us, I actually thought it was going to be the holiday season. I thought that's when we were going to be spending the majority of our money. It turns out that's not the case. Again, not for us, maybe for you it is, but for us, it was not the case. I was really shocked to find out that on average, we spend more money in the summertime than we do any other time during the year. And so that's been helpful for us because now we know that in the summertime, we have to be a lot more aware of it and just a lot more cognizant of what we're spending money on. So we're not just willy-nilly spending money and that we actually pay attention and focus on our budget. Because what I do after I have done this little exercise is that I then go in month by month and I break out exactly what we spent our money on. And I was really shocked. I was doing this for 2016's year and I discovered that I had spent over $250 on books from Amazon for that entire year. Y'all, the library is free. I spent way too much money on books. And some of those books weren't even very good, to be quite honest with you. They weren't worth the money that I spent. And so now I will check out books from the library instead of buying them. And then if I read the book and I really enjoy the book or I really like the book or I think I'm going to want to reference that book again, then I decide if I want to spend my money on buying that book or not. And and the funny thing is that I'm naturally the saver and my husband's the spender. And so this exercise was super helpful for me because it allowed me to see where my spending weakness was and where I was overspending money outside of the budget instead of just always focusing on what my husband's doing, right? Humility is a good thing. And so for us, not only did I discover that I'd spent a bunch of money on books, but like I had said before, we discovered that in the summertime, we spend a lot more money. The next step that I do in this process is I calculate our net worth. Y'all, so back when we had debt, we're 100% debt free now. So we don't have a mortgage anymore. We have, no car payments, no student loan payments, no credit cards, nothing. But back when we had all of that debt, our net worth was negative. We had a negative net worth, y'all. That was so sad. And now we have this huge positive net worth. And it's been amazing to watch that calculation grow. And so this is why I actually like calculating our net worth every single year, because because it's a lot of fun to see that number grow. Because anytime you hear someone's a millionaire, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about that person's net worth, which means that their assets minus liabilities equals over $1 million. And obviously we are not millionaires. We don't have that. But we will one day. One day we will, just not today. But it's just been fun to see that calculation grow over time, and with each passing year, it just continues to grow. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that you calculate your net worth, which again, it's super simple. It's just your assets minus your liabilities. So you're going to like, let's say that your home is worth, $300,000, but you owe $150,000 on your home. So your net worth as far as your home goes would be $150,000. And you would just keep doing this with all of your assets. The link that's in the description of this video includes a printable that kind of breaks down how to calculate your net worth to make it super simple and easy for you. The next thing that I do is I go through and I review our accounts. This step is pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. I don't honestly like doing this step, but this step is really important. I review our insurance policies, one, to make sure that the policies are correct and up to date, to make sure, like, do we still need this same amount of insurance that we had before? And are we getting the best possible rate for our insurance? Again, like I said, I know this step isn't fun, but this step is very, very helpful to not only like saving you money because you might be able to change your policy, but it also keeps you very aware of what your insurance policies actually have in them. Because one thing that we learned shortly after we bought our home, I was trying to find a new insurance provider for our home insurance because I felt like we were paying too much for our auto and our home insurance. And so I called up a friend of mine who's an insurance agent, and he offered to look at our policies. And so he looked at the policies and he told me point blank, he said, well, I can tell you right now that I can't save you any money on your home insurance. He said, and I understand if you don't want to like use me for that, but I need to let you know that your current policy doesn't cover if your septic tank backs up into your house. It doesn't cover, and it doesn't even cover all of the correct square footage of your home. So it would not cover the cost that if your home, was, obliterated by a tornado or if it burned to the ground, it would not cover the full cost to rebuild your house at its current size, which my house isn't very big though, but it would not cover the full cost to build it from the ground back up. And I was like, holy cow. And so he showed me in the policy where all of that was. That was such a blessing because, guys, like literally just a few weeks ago, our septic tank backed up and flooded our basement and our laundry room, our basement and our laundry room were completely finished, which means that they were nice, professionally remodeled. It's great when you're married to a remodeler who can do that. But y'all, it did over $11,000 worth of damage to our house. That septic tank backing up did. That's not including the cost of having to have the septic tank pumped. So I am so grateful for that because it's covered under insurance, and it wouldn't have been had we not changed policies. So that's why it's really important to check your insurance policies to make sure that they cover what they need to. And the very last thing that I do for this annual money review is I review our credit reports. I do regular credit monitoring. So even though we're 100% debt free and we don't use debt, I still want to make sure that somebody else isn't using debt with my name attached to it. You know what I mean? So we use Credit Karma, which is a free service. I'll include links to them in the description of this video. It's a free service, and it's what we use to just regularly monitor our credit to make sure that something isn't popping up. But you also need to make sure that when you do this annual review that you're not just looking at your credit score, that you're actually pulling your full credit report from all 3 credit bureaus. I do this through a website called through annualcreditreport.com. It's free. You can pull it from all 3 bureaus and just pull the full big report. And so I just print out the whole thing and I take a pen and I just go through the whole report for me and my husband both, the whole report, to make sure that there's not something on there that shouldn't be, which there have times been things on there that we shouldn't. So you want to make sure that whatever is on your credit report is stuff that should actually be on there. And this is also really good too, because if you've ever received like a collections notice and you're sitting there going, what on earth is this bill that they're talking about, which this has happened to me before. You can go on your credit report and see, is this account showing here? Because if it's a delinquent account, it's going to be on your credit report. And so if you're not seeing it on there, then there could be a discrepancy. Like maybe you have the same name as this person that actually owns the debt, or maybe something else is going on with it. But that at least allows you to know, okay, there is some sort of miscommunication here. And the very last thing that I do in this process is me and my husband sit down and we make our big money goals for the upcoming year. This is how we were able to pay off all of our debts. This is how we've been able to save our money. This is how we've been able to invest and give and do all of these amazing things, is because we take the time to sit down and develop financial goals for the upcoming year. And for me, and we do this after this whole big review has been completed. I am the one that goes through and does the review because I'm weird and I like those types of things. And then I just kind of show everything to my husband. We go over it, we talk about it. And then from there, we make our decisions and our goals based on all of those findings. And so I hope that this helps you have a money review. Like I said, the link to the printables is in the description of this video. So make sure you check that out. And I would love to hear what you discover on your money review.